Finally TV, party people, here we are once again. It is your boy Gabriel in the building. Just came out here one time, a special edition of Voice of the Valley. It's not so often that I'll get celebrities to come through Beacon, New York, but when you got good buddies like, my boy DJ FLATLINE, sometimes you get a cool phone call, and that happened to me just the other day. I'd like to introduce y'all to, I'll say, a figure in hip-hop that you might not know, might not be a household name to you, but when I tell you that this gentleman has been in the roots of this whole thing that we love called hip-hop, I am not telling you a lie. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you DJ Nonstop in the building. Say hello, sir.
What up? How y'all doing?
See that? Man, I want to thank you for your time. I really do appreciate you coming
No
out
problem.
here, man. And for, I gave a short intro to who you are, and I probably shortchanged you a little bit, but for the people that don't know or just need that quick lesson, tell them who you are, where you're from, and all that.
Well, I'm from Chicago, born and raised. I started DJing in the 80s, house music, and then got into battling. The DMC was in Chicago, got me into that. I used to dance, break dance, and tag, so it was natural. It was like a natural progression to get into DJing.
Yeah.
Hip hop became my favorite music, and the rest is history. I've been with T.K.A, K7, DMX, and heavy hitters. So
yeah.
From Chicago.
Oh, that's dope, man. Being from Chicago, I know we were chopping it up a little bit before, and I know you spent a lot of time in New York. Being from Chicago and seeing hip hop happen for what it is, what was that experience like from that point of view? What did New York look like to y'all?
Well, to me, because
Yeah.
the first time I got off the plane, it was like, come on, it's the Mecca.
Mm-hmm.
If you like hip hop, love hip hop. If you
Yeah.
love hip hop or you're B-boy,
Yeah.
it's New York is where it was at, man.
Mm-hmm.
New York is where a Puerto Rican kid from Chicago was watching a movie or saw Wild Style and saw guys in that movie that looked just like the guys in the neighborhood and made me feel like I could be a part of it. And Charlie Chase, seeing him on the screen, and years later we're friends, like good friends, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, first Puerto Rican basically in hip hop, you know what I mean? Like, I'm Boricua from Chicago. Those are the two things I carry with pride. So being in New York the first time was like, damn, just everything, the whole education that all this time I spent watching movies and, paying attention to the culture and subway art and all the shit we did was all based out of New York. So it was like being in the motherland, you know? And then it was crazy because I'm getting haircuts out here and I'm seeing Slick Rick walking down the street. And, I'm passing Tommy Boy and
like all the icons.
Yeah, they're just walking down the street and I'm like, damn, nothing like this happens in Chicago. But hip hop wise not, because at the time we had maybe a couple, but it wasn't big like this, So it was great, man. It was a culture, man. Culture shock.
Yeah, hell yeah, I can only imagine. And now my whole audience thinks I'm cheating now. They're like, oh, he's Boricua. See, man, you just pulling your Puerto Rican card and all that. You know what I mean?
Nah.
But no.
Hey, listen, man. Listen, there's a lot of us.
Right.
But there's not a lot of us that get to carry our city or do anything remotely positive with all the negative shit that comes out about us. Not just us, obviously, but we get our own negative, press and dealings with the police and gang banging and all that shit, man. So to be able to rep the people, I'm most proud of being Puerto Rican because, it wasn't easy. My family struggled, and my dad repped us in bodybuilding, and I repped us in music and tagging and breaking. I did everything.
Gotcha.
I put in for the culture, and I traveled the world and represented my city. So, and I never took it for granted. I'm 51 right now.
Gotcha.
I'm still doing it. So.
Were you born in the States? Or were you born in Puerto Rico?
No, my parents were both born in Puerto Rico, and I was born in Chicago.
Okay, so I'm the same exact way, but I'm your classic New Yorican.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you know more Spanish?
Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm a New Yorican over here. You know what I mean? When I go to Puerto Rico to visit my family, I instantly become, I'm the gringo, I'm everything, because like the accents, no, you're not saying this word right, you know what I mean?
I never speak Spanish right.
You know what I mean? So
very few words I know well,
yeah.
and I know what I do wrong, and I never fixed it because it's just who I am. You know what I mean?
Classic. I understand a lot more than I speak.
Me too.
You know
yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying?
me too.
You know what I mean? So
that's why I tell people all the time. I'm like, I'm Puerto Rican, but I don't speak as much. I understand Spanish.
Yeah.
I just don't speak as much as I understand. You know?
Exactly.
My grandmother would be like,
right,
and I had to process all that.
You know what's really dope, and this is true for all y'all listening too. Even though you don't speak it a lot, because I'm the same way. But when I go to Puerto Rico, if I'm there for more than like a week or so, if I'm there like 10 days, 2 weeks, yo, I'm speaking it.
Absolutely.
It comes out.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo,
it just becomes, because if everybody's doing it and you understand it, you start spitting words. Yeah. I found out when I was in K7 and we went to do 2 shows in Puerto Rico in San Juan, Peggy Sue's. It was a really,
I know Peggy Sue.
It was a great, we were there for like 4 or 5 days. I had a blast.
Yeah.
But after talking, we were there with Prophet's cousins, and they were all girls, and they were like the coolest chicks, right? But after talking to them for a couple of days, I started being funny in Spanish. Like I started learning how to how the way you say things in English, how you have to reverse them to say them in Spanish.
Right.
And I found a way to be funny, and I would make them fucking laugh, and I was proud of myself for that.
Yo, see, wifey's laughing right now watching it. I did the same. I had made up songs like, oh, bro.
Fucking half Ricans.
I got this song through my mind. It's famous in Puerto Rico right now.
We're half Ricans.
But all that being true and said, the real connection here is that we have a mutual friend in DJ FLATLINE.
FLATLINE, absolutely.
All right. And what I think's cool about that is that, you know, FLATLINE's done this show. You know, he was one of my early ones. He was on season 1. He's been to day 1 with me since high school, you know, my freshman year. So we've been cool since then. How did you guys meet, and how did that come
Well, I did a show with DMX. Where was that show at?
It was in Fishkill.
Fishkill. They were both there, FLATLINE and his wife, Gracie.
No, it was David.
Oh,
It was his brother.
Oh,
David.
his brother was there. Okay.
Shout out DLP.
Hey, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So I met her, and we were talking hip-hop shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was just a hip-hop head.
Mm-hmm.
And we were out in the club,
Mm-hmm.
or on the hallway, just talking hip-hop.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fucking awesome.
Gotcha.
It was like so dope to talk to a female that understood the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we just hit it off and became friends. And
Mm-hmm.
I stayed in touch with her. Then I met FLATLINE, and he was fucking a dope ass DJ. And can I swear?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do whatever you want. Just don't get naked.
He when I heard how he DJ'd and like the style and the way he put it together, I'm like, see, I could fuck with that.
Right.
Like I'm a traditional DJ, and I love the basics. All that other shit is awesome. That separates you from everybody else. But the basics, if you can blend 2 records together, man, seamless, and keep that vibe, bro, that's all I look for. So he had that, and then I realized both of them were just super into culture and just good people, and I just became friends. And I've been a friend, 20 years almost? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's
maybe it's probably like 16 years. No, it can't be, because I was with X 17 and a half.
February 7, 2003.
Okay, yeah, that's right when I started.
Legit, this is a legitimate thing. I've known FLATLINE for 30 years.
Wow.
1991. When did you graduate? 91. Yeah, see? So his senior year, my man Radimus Martinez went up to him and said, yo, this is my cousin Gabe, show him around. That was a wrap. He took that to heart.
That's
That is it. So he was like my day 1 friend in there, and then showed me the ropes, showed me everybody, you know what I'm saying? Didn't smother me, let me like fly after, so that was cool too, you know what I mean? But
that's love.
Yeah, but shout out to FLATLINE, man.
FLATLINE.
You know what I mean? Coming to a Juliet's near you, right? Yeah, Friday nights. Once a month, you can catch DJ FLATLINE at Saturday nights. There you go. He'll be posting. You'll know the fucking day. No, but shout out to him. Now to bring it to the area, right? Because accomplished DJ like yourself, y'all don't know, part of Heavy Hitters, the whole 9. And you spoke earlier about being on Rock the Bells. But I know Heavy Hitters also has affiliation with Shade 45 too, right?
Yeah, well, the Heavy Hitters have their own show on Shade 45, but this was just The Rock the Bells thing was just an offer to represent Chicago, so it wasn't had nothing
like
to do with cruise. It was they did all city day, and they were doing Miami at the time and reached out to a few of us, and we put something together for the following month, and it was dope. It was really dope.
Got you. Okay.
I needed it.
Yeah, no, the mix that you were playing me, that was, I like that, man.
I needed that, bro.
Yeah,
I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed that so bad.
Can the people catch that on demand anywhere or no?
Yeah, it's on my Mixcloud. You go to mixcloud.com/DJ Nonstop1, and you'll find I got like 100-something mixes on there. Most of them are throwbacks. Some are real hip hop. Some are commercial hip hop. Most of them are hip hop. There's a couple. There's one house one freestyle one. I came from all those genres, so I wanted to. During COVID, I decided to give back.
Right.
Go back to my roots, and losing my brother made me focus on that too. So I just did all the music that reminded me of him. I got a disco funk mix on there called Yayo. It's just my brother, when he was a baby, couldn't say Mario, so he said Yayo. So I named it that, and I played all the songs that came out, or the songs that were popping still when he was born.
Right.
And then I made a freestyle mix because he used to come see us perform. And then I did the house mix because that's where I started. When he was a kid, he used to break my needles.
Gosh.
So.
Little brothers.
Yeah.
My little brother broke my Voltron. He'll never live that down. Like, you know what I mean?
I thought I saw Voltron in here.
He's up there.
Oh, yeah. I knew I just looked.
Replacement. Wifey had to get me the replacement 30 years later.
Wow.
Yeah. Shout out to Angie. But, no, so you said something right now. I just want to touch on it real quick. How you went through all the genres, right? Like, can you tell the story real quick that you told about like the K7 deal, how that all came about, and T.K.A. and
okay, so the K7, the T.K.A. thing. I met T.K. in Chicago at the Riviera, and a friend of mine, Sly, he was a DJ older than me, well-known DJ, and he befriended me and kind of took me under his wing. I had a lot of older DJs that like kind of took to me, and I don't know if it was the way I sounded at the time that made them like me, or my personality, but I have a lot of those guys that came out before me that kind of introduced me to somebody that ended up being important in my life in the future. Yeah. So they were part of my whole upbringing, you know what I mean? Yeah. So Sly was one of those guys, and he knew T.K.A. because he used to DJ every time they would come. So he took me backstage to meet him, and they made a joke like, "Oh, you look like one of the T.K.A. guys and shit." And we just hit it off, and then I went to New York with Sly to visit them and hung out with them, and we all became friends. And then I would go on the road every once in a while with them, just like setting up mics or whatever. It was like whenever they were around or close, I would go. Right. And then I went on an actual tour with them for a little while. My ex-wife was dancing for them at one time.
Oh, wow, okay. Yep.
So she was in the Crash video, and she could do backflips and shit. So yeah, we just became friends. So they knew my wife at the time, and she was a good friend of Joey's, and he was a manager, and we were all good friends. So they came to Chicago to do an in-store, and I was always with them. So I was at the in-store, and one of my boys, Bad Boy Bill, was there. I actually have the picture of that day, too. It's funny. We were cutting. We were like kind of battling, but not, because our styles were different. And they looked up, and they were like, "Damn, you know how to scratch like that?" And they're like, "Yo, you should be our DJ, and we're going to do this, tour, and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, fuck yeah, So when they were recording Maria, I came in the studio. They had some scratches that were laid down already. But then I came in with a siren and did just simple siren scratch and did a couple of little scratches. And nothing super dope or anything, but I got my name on the record. I was at the time I was Mario Nonstop Nieves. Because I was a house guy,
there you go.
Freestyle hip hop.
That's fire.
So I became their DJ for this last tour. And then when they broke up, or that was the plan all along after that tour, K, who's like my guy, he said, "I'm going solo and I want you to be my DJ." And it was not, man. Like I told you earlier, he didn't even finish saying it. I was like, hell yeah.
You were on it,
I loved K. I still love K. And there was no way I was going to say no to that. And then he told me who the dancers were going to be, the other swing kids. I love those guys too. I knew them from being on the road with T.K.A. We always hung out. So it was like a natural thing for us. We never really hung out like we did when we were in the group, but the chemistry was there. We all had that desire. We all were good-hearted people. You know what I'm saying? We were all tough in our own ways too. It just felt like family, man.
Right.
Even before we got into it. So that's pretty much how that started for me.
Got you, man. You tell your story, and it's almost like, because, it's just his truths, and he's just speaking. And you say it so nonchalantly. So I want to ask you, in your career, where was the break for you that you went from a kid who could DJ to
you know
where did that happen?
You know what's fucking crazy? That everybody has that one, and I never thought I had it until I got to where I am now, and I look back and I know exactly when it happened.
What happened?
So, and this is a great story, and this is my beginning. Period.
Okay.
I started buying records at this record store in Logan Square. Logan Square is where I grew up. Where I grew up in Humboldt Park, and then I moved up north a little bit, and it was Logan Square. Fucking, my heart is in Logan. So, to be a DJ, or to want to be a DJ, to aspire to be anything, you usually know everybody who does what you want to do. If you don't, then you really don't give a fuck about it.
Right.
I knew every DJ in the fucking city because I would look at every flyer. I wasn't on any of them. I would just take the flyers from the record store and study everybody's fucking name. Okay? I'm buying records from this record store. Every week I'm buying like 2 records. I didn't have money. I had to ask my mom for money. And my friend Rick, my best friend still, him and I were taggers. So I was Gizmo ABC, he was Rick 06. We tagged all over the city, and then this group, ABC, was one of the first graffiti crews in Chicago. They inducted us in because we were so popular. And they were all older than us, but that's how we started our graffiti shit. So me and Rick, when I decided to DJ, he wanted to DJ with me. So we started together, so we would buy records. And the guy that was selling us the records was a super cool fucking guy.
Okay.
So one day I went in there by myself, and I was buying some records, and it was like I would listen to the radio, and then the DJs would always play new shit. And it would be in the record store the next weekend.
Yeah.
So, or the next Monday or Tuesday, we would come to the record store to buy it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I bought these 2 records, and the guy's like, "Hey, are you a DJ? Like, you buy all the like really dope DJ, like really good DJ records or whatever?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just starting out." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a DJ." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Lugo Rosado." And my jaw dropped because Lugo Rosado was like, every flyer he was on, it said he was from Logan Square.
Oh,
so
okay.
I lived in Logan. So to me, he was like a god.
Got you. Okay.
So this guy that's been selling me records for the last several times that I've come here is that guy.
Got you.
And he's like, "Hey, if you want to learn some more," immediately offered to take me under his fucking wing, bro.
Okay.
Immediately.
Got you.
Just from interacting with me a couple times on buying records. Asked me a question, I answered it. Maybe he liked the way I said it. I'm not a DJ yet. I'm practicing. Maybe he liked that. And he's like, "I'm going to take this motherfucker under my wing." Whatever the case, he did it.
Yeah.
He invited me to his house. I practiced with him, and he takes me to this guy named Pinky's house. Pinky just happened to be the guy that threw the Pan American Festival in Chicago every summer, and the Great Battle of the DJs was every fucking year.
Wow. Okay.
I walk into this guy's garage with Lugo. He's on the floor painting the fucking banners for the Pan American Fest that they hang on the street poles across the big ones.
Yeah, the big.
He's leaning down there, and then he goes, "Hey, Pinky, this is my friend Mario Nonstop. He's a DJ." He looks at me, he goes, "You're a DJ?" He goes, "I need a DJ to DJ the Pan American Fest." I said, "How long?" He's like, 3 hours for Saturday and Sunday before the battle. "You want to do it?" I said, "Hell yeah." That was my break.
Wow.
I DJ'd that day. The guy who won the battle, he beat Lugo. His name was Paulo Gonzalez. He came to my high school the next week and offered me a job because he threw parties. He's like, "I want to hire you to do a party."
There it is.
So I did my first gig. He spelled my last name wrong. No Nonstop, and he spelled my fucking last name wrong. I did my second party. They spelled my last name wrong in a different way, and I got the flyers to prove it.
Yeah.
The third party, they put my name right, but no Nonstop. My fourth party, I was Mario Nonstop, and I was almost at the top of the flyer.
There you go.
As I started DJing these parties, my name shot up because I would scratch and DJ. But I knew how to DJ blend really well, so I added the scratching to be more hood, more street, and it made me excel fast.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But that was the break because Pablo won the battle. He just happened to be one of the guys who him and his mom threw parties. So he had the sound system and everything, so he booked all the young DJs. My first party, I was representing my high school, and my last name was wrong, but it says Schurz Mario Nuevas or some shit. My last name's Nieves. It said Nuevas. One said Naves or Neves, and one said Nuevas or some shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, but that was my break.
Okay,
it was an opportunity, right place at the right time, and that's been my whole career, bro.
You know what it is too, man, and it's they say that luck is nothing more than, preparedness meeting opportunity, and that's exactly what happened right there.
They just started saying that like 10 years ago, and it is absolutely true.
It's true.
Because I told people my whole career, I said, listen,
You just been ready.
I was in the right place at the right time, but I was prepared for all the jobs that came my way.
Correct.
Everything I've done has led to something else.
Correct.
The first time I DJ'd for DMX was a favor. 3 songs that turned into 4. The next day I got an offer from him to DJ with him, to DJ for him. And his quote, what he said to me was, I never worked with you before, but I felt an energy with you. That's DMX saying that.
Yeah. It means something.
It means a lot, bro.
Yeah. I mean, he's on the walk. You didn't see.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it in the mirror.
X is, to me, he was always, there was such a realism about X. He exuded truth to me. You know what I mean? And
that's all he was.
And that energy that he had. So I only saw him perform. I saw him perform twice. It was insane. He prayed at the end of both of them. You know what I mean? But he tore it down. I can only imagine that dude on a one-on-one situation.
Man.
With what you feel like. It could almost feel like you could touch it. It's so real.
It was surreal to me.
Yeah, bro.
Every show was a fog.
I bet.
A great memory now, especially earning his respect. The conversations we had, the arguments we had, every fucking thing meant so much, man.
Because you're on the road with this gentleman.
Yeah, it's like being with fucking your brother, bro.
Yeah.
He's like a brother. Like me and X, the first few years I worked for him, I talked through other people to talk to him because I didn't want to bother him. I felt like I'm his DJ. He's a star. I'm just going to do my job and keep it moving. And then we would bump into each other in certain moments where it tested it tested us, and we both kind of, or like I proved myself in a way where he started fucking with me a little different. And it was by accident, but on purpose, right? Because it's meant to be.
Right.
So over the years, we just got closer, man. And I'm just a person, man. Like, I'm the guy who did 2 shows with Biggie, not as his DJ, but on the same stage that he rocked, and I never asked him for shit.
Right.
He gave us props, but I never asked him for a picture. I never asked him for a drop. I didn't want to bother people. I always felt like if I get a chance to go backstage, I want to blend in with everybody else. I don't want to be all over somebody and make them feel like uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So I always did that. And it worked to my advantage for a lot of reasons because people felt like I was a peer even when I wasn't. And they maybe gave me a pass or gave me an opportunity, And it's just, man.
Yeah. We were... You alluded to the fact that you were DMX's road DJ, and we were talking about like what brings you to Beacon, New York. It's because you have friends up here, obviously, but you're coming for a little deeper reason too, where you want to pay respects to the man himself. So let's talk about that a little bit.
For obvious reasons. 17 and a half years. Come on, man. That's DMX, man, and he changed my life. He gave me a second chance to go back on the road after the K7 thing died down. I was so sick of traveling and not being around for my kids. I needed to be home. And home got real boring. And I missed the road. And for 5 years, ironically, the same 5 years that DMX started his career, for those 5 years, I was miserable. I was doing a lot of parties and underground shit, but I wasn't leaving. I was telling stories about the K7 days and going, damn, I went to London. Damn, I went here. But I didn't go again.
Right.
And DMX came, bro, and my first tour was overseas.
That's what you said, like 13 shows or something?
No, he had 20 shows.
Wow.
But I did like 5 or 6 shows before that even happened. But that was my first overseas was with him. It was like we were on tour for like a month, or maybe a little longer. But it was such a great experience. It was not a great experience. It was tough because I didn't know I had to like rap.
Right.
But it worked out.
Right.
It worked out over the years, and I think it was the best thing for him, and he was the best thing for me because he brought me back to God.
Yeah. That is great to have, man. That is awesome to have and to cherish. What I think is so dope about you, brother, is, because I do my research, and if I know I'm going to be talking with somebody, I like to, like, read up on them and just watch things about you, right? What I thought is dope about you is that you take this all so serious to the point where when you got asked to go on tour, you were like, now I got to learn the songs. Now, that, to me, I'm like, he's going to be the DJ, and now he wants to, like, not just the songs to know the song. You wanted the lyrics. At one point, you're telling me you're writing down his lyrics. So
That's the only way I can learn them. I have a photographic memory, and you know, I knew X's hooks. I didn't know his songs. He was, you know, I was playing underground hip hop.
Sure.
He was all over the radio. He didn't need my help.
Right.
Not at that point.
Right.
But my younger brother, man, you know, him and X shared a birthday, different years, same day, December 18th. My baby brother, my only brother. And he used to try to feed me X every day. You got to listen to X. I know you think he's commercial and he's big, but his lyrics, Mario, you trust me, you know me. And I would say, yeah. Not listen. I get the gig with X, and I start writing his lyrics down because I'm doing shows with him, and I'm just standing there like a dumbass. I don't have no rhythm with him. Right. He's running out of breath, and I'm like, fuck. Right. And I'm like, and, you know, and I'm like not of value to him at all.
Right.
I'm all about performance.
Sure.
And I'm not supposed to shine. I'm supposed to help him shine.
Sure.
But I wasn't doing shit but playing tracks.
Right.
I said, I got to change that. We were in Paris. I wrote down his lyrics. I was in the mirror, long fucking mirror. I was writing shit down. I had my iPod on. I'm writing shit and going, what the fuck? Like, yo. Like, I was blown away. I finished every song that we'd performed, and then I went to more songs. I wanted to learn Ready to Meet 'Em and shit that we weren't performing because they were, like, blowing me away. Sure. And I called my younger brother when I was in fucking Paris, and I said, you were right. You were fucking right. Yeah. He goes, I knew he was going to like you, and I knew you were going to like him. Yeah. That's what my brother said.
Yeah, that's dope. And then to take it a step further, you have a super dope story about the House of Blues.
Oh, yeah. It would happen more than once, but you talking about when X forgot his lyrics? Yeah. That happened more than once. But there was a few shows where that happened. It was nothing, you know. We would drink and shit before the show, and when he was able to smoke bud, he was smoking. You know, we were smoking and we were high, but he would still kill it. Yeah. But sometimes he would jump a verse or forget a verse, or he would cough. That's what it was. I caught him. He was coughing one day. Like, he kept trying to rap and cough at the same time. So I kept finishing his words more than normal. And he fucking gagged at the beginning of, I think it was Get It on the Floor. And I just started rapping the verse. And then he caught up to me. You know what I mean? That happened a few times because I knew the song so well. It was easy.
And you're doing the voice inflection, though.
Yeah, I do the background shit. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm best at, you know, but only for him. Yeah. You know, the energy he felt, he was absolutely right. Yeah. I'm officially retired from DJing for any rapper. The only shows I'll do on the road is if K7, if we decide to do a 30-year anniversary tour. Sure. You know, if we're fortunate enough and we can do that, I'll do that. But as far as DJing for a rapper, full disclosure, I'll cry. Yeah. I'll cry because it ain't X. Yeah. And X felt an energy with me, and my energy died with him. So what I did for him was meant to be. I was meant to be in his life. He was meant to be in mine for sure. And I learned so much about myself, about the things I could take. I traveled everywhere alone. Yeah. You know, I met them everywhere because I'm from Chicago. So I grew up a lot. Yeah. You know, just dealing with circumstances that were out of my control. Sure. But it was all due to, you know, the job offer. Yeah. Whatever he felt, he did me a favor. Because where I'm at right now, other than losing my brother and him, which you can't control that, but X's demons are gone. I know he's good. My brother, I know he's good. And I'm in a great place in my life at this moment. The things that have happened to me over the past several weeks were all cushions for this blow. Okay? It hurts that I'll never be able to get on a stage with him again. That kills me. But the demons can't fuck with him no more. Correct. They can't. Right. And take the selfish shit aside, me. X don't have to suffer. He was embarrassed of the problems he had. He wasn't proud of that shit. He fought that shit like nobody's business. He's broken shit and cried and because that shit was calling him, and he never wanted that. You know, he got blessed with the gift and the curse, like he always said. And he didn't like it. Yeah. And it was tough for him. And he had to do a lot of shit to not think about that shit. So for me, you know, I feel bad for the kids because, you know, especially the young ones, because, you know, they're not going to get a good experience. And he was so close to his youngest. It's like, you know, that part is sad. For me personally, it's sad because, You know, he used to say, yo, we're going to be doing this shit till we're 60. We're going to barely be able to walk, but we're going to get up there and do these shows.
Right.
And I would laugh. And then we talked about retiring at some point, and I bring the kids out to his house, and we had those conversations. And, you know, it's just, that shit makes me sad because it wasn't going to happen. But I know he's with God, man. If anybody's with God, X is with God, man.
Yeah.
He's been a soldier for so long.
I can't believe anything else other than that. You know,
I refuse to.
Yeah.
I showed you my proof.
That's all. For real, like that's what got me saying that. You know what I mean?
That
like,
I
that's
did.
real.
That
You know, I don't know if we want to talk about that, but that.
Nah, we don't have to.
You know, that's a yes.
That's what made
an affirmation.
that was the stamp.
Yes.
That was the I'm good, I'm okay, and that was I love you, and
Yeah.
I know it was because he used to always say that shit. You know, and the best thing that ever happened to me, bro, is I always told my boys I loved them. I rarely told somebody like X that shit because I met X as a man already.
Sure.
You know, we weren't boys since we were kids.
Sure.
I barely had love for niggas like that.
Right.
But man, bro, the I love yous went back and forth a lot. We've did some amazing shit together, man.
Hell yeah.
I feel so honored to have been in his life and to be able to get on. You know how many shows?
I was gonna say, how many shows did you do, bro?
Man, it's
do you even know? Do you have an idea?
Hell no.
You don't.
But the fact that we did shows that we were so late to, that they cut our time in half, and X is like, yo, just guide me. And gave me the keys, and I put them on track, and we did one of the most amazing shows, and afterwards he's in the back like, that's why I fuck with you. To get those moments where I earned his DMX's respect, fuck everything you heard about X that you could say is negative.
Right.
You could say that shit till you're dead. The one thing you have to understand is with all his trouble, he never lost his faith in God, and he always helped people. So find me another motherfucker that can be going through the worst shit and still have a heart like that.
Right.
You can't talk bad about him.
Right.
It's just not possible. Because I was one of those people that only went to God when shit was bad. And I grew up in a Catholic school. I probably was ODing on God at the time.
Right.
X brought me back because he made me realize you got to be thankful every fucking day, man. Like everything's God's will. Like he changed my perspective because I was going through shit. And X brought me out of that shit.
Yeah, man.
He never stopped praying.
Yeah.
He never left state. We were in Beirut, Lebanon, and they said he better not say Jesus' name here. We're Muslim. And he said, in the name of Jesus. And they said, boo! And tried to kick me out and put music on. I'm wrestling with these motherfuckers. We left that place, but he said Jesus' name. He did his job, bro. He was a soldier for God. Find another one better, you can't. Because he talked to the people that nobody would talk to. He didn't do that shit in the church, just the church where everybody's safe and they came to see you. He did it in Beirut, Lebanon on New Year's Day. New Year's Eve we performed right after New Year's. After we heard... I heard more machine guns out there. I laid on the motherfucking floor in the hotel because at midnight, boom, boom.
Wow.
I thought it was World War III, bro. And they told me the story of how the statue of the man outside, he was the guy that brought all the businesses and they blew his ass up in a bomb. All hearing that, and then the fucking the ATV that was across the street from the hotel in the middle of the street with a gate around it and a guy in there holding the gun pointed right at the fucking hotel because that's where all the diplomats stayed. When I heard them guns, I was on the fucking floor, bro.
Getting low.
I was on the floor like, please don't get a bullet.
Just stay low.
And then we had to go perform and they say, no Jesus here.
Wow.
And X said, in the mighty name of Jesus. And they were like, boo. And this guy's like, he tried to put music on us. Hey, motherfucker, yo, don't touch my shit. Why you getting me into shit, though? But he did it. He did it. He did it. And we got out of there with our lives. And I think a week later or 2 weeks later, a bomb blew up right down the block. Wow. And you can look that up because I'm sure you'll find the dates.
Yeah, sure.
Like a week or two later, I saw it on the fucking news. And it looked like the same neighborhood we were in. But I could be wrong. But they said it happened near where the guy died before. Because they put his memorial where he died. Gotcha. A car bomb or some shit. So I'm just telling you. Beirut, bro. Lebanon.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The dog. What?
See, I love that you got that in your head, though, man. Look at us. We're both cheesing over.
Listen, man.
You know what I mean? Like, and another thing about X-Men that I got to say, and I said this before when I did my little tribute to him, I'm a dog person.
Yeah, and I'm not.
You know, I am, bro.
So you really
connected.
connected.
I'm like a dog whisperer. I swear to God, bro. You know what I mean? I can make my dog crawl downstairs from upstairs right now if I wanted to. You know, it's like And with X, it was real with him. Like,
yeah, man.
He can, like, when he would talk about dogs, it was like, yo, it's like me. It's like he's in my head. Like, that's exactly how I feel about their family. You know what I mean?
I think the craziest thing about me and X is that we're probably completely opposite.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a guy that grew up around gangbangers all my life, and I wanted to be so much more than that.
Yeah.
But it was all around me,
Yeah.
drug addicts and gangbanging, and I always just looked out the window like I need to do something. I want to do something great, right? X was still that when I met him.
Yeah.
Everything I was not, but we bonded.
Yo,
hard.
yin and yang, brother.
We bonded hard.
Yeah.
The shit we did on stage. There's no comparing that.
Yeah.
I've seen shows from the past, and I'm not dissing nobody. X and I, the chemistry we had, and he said it to anybody who would listen. The chemistry we had was godsend. I can't do that for nobody else. I could never. Not because I can and I wouldn't. I can't. I can't ever sound that good for somebody else because I was able to sound like him when I needed to. Not like him, but a compliment to him, where it still felt like it was X energy.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That was a once in a lifetime thing for me. That chapter's done. I will honor him for the rest of my life, but I will never step on stage with a rapper and back him up ever again. And no money in the world is gonna change that. I'm done. So DJing is back to the real DJing again.
Yeah.
I do radio in Chicago, so I'm good.
Let me, but before we leave the topic entirely, can you tell me what your favorite show was?
My favorite show was the Hip Hop Honors.
Oh, okay.
It was a 2009 VH1 Hip Hop Honors. It was my favorite show because I didn't DJ that day. I was his hype man.
Okay.
And I got to bring him on stage. I got to shout out the heavy hitters, shout out my name.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was a band, the Gym Class Heroes, whom I love.
Yeah.
They were playing Party Up, and it's me and X rapping. And he fucked up. He changed a verse on me, and I just followed him, and then we did the third verse, second verse, third. But it's memorable.
It goes. Yeah.
But that show was so hard.
Yeah.
And we did it in one take. Other artists came out 2-3 times and lost the energy of the crowd. The second that curtain came up, we went from the beginning of Party Up to the end, and we got the crazy applause, crazy respect, and I got to live my rapper fantasy one time for Def Jam. Yeah, man. Again, Puerto Rican kid from Chicago, man. Like, you guys don't know how important that is to me. Coming from where I came from, man, just to not have to do the gang banging shit. And that's my parents. I'm not gonna act like I stayed out of the game. Sure. My father was a professional bodybuilder at the time. He was Junior Mr. America. People were scared of my dad. He would ride a chopper that he built with a fucking cut off on, and he was ripped to shreds. Right. And he had an afro this fucking big. He was that Puerto Rican. And when he came in the neighborhood, they would call him Hercules or Tarzan. I walked to the corner store, the drugstore, where we would buy our fucking model airplanes and shit, or get comics. And the man in there, the name of the place was Shapiro's. The man would be like, "Hey, your dad's on the cover of Iron Man again." My dad's on the cover of a fucking magazine. So my dad saved my life just being who he was. Sure. So people wanted to fuck with me, and they didn't because they were scared of my father. But then I also gave them respect. So eventually they just respected me. Thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I could have been a dick, right? I had a tough father. I could have been acting like I ain't shit. I would always talk to the gangbangers. I always tell them who I was, what I did. If I was a tagger. I had guys come up to me in high school when I was tagging. They thought I was tagging gang shit. And they fucking straight up said, "Let me use the marker." And I said, "Cool, as long as you don't tag around my name, because I don't want nobody to think I'm a gangbanger." And that was they said, "Cool." Tagged their shit over there, gave me my marker, and every time I saw them, they were my boys. Not friends, but they would nod to me. You know what I'm saying? That was just that's the childhood. Those are the things you go through. And so I knew how to talk, and that helped. But my dad kept me safe, and my mother gave me her personality. Talk to people, be kind. You know what I'm saying?
It's true though, man. I say communication is key in so many facets of life.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I've talked my way out of so much shit that could have been so bad.
You know what I mean? The gift of gab is real, man. That's a real.
It's
a real gift.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
I could have got fucked with in New York one time because some dude handed me a mixtape and I kept walking with it and he's like, yo, to get money. I'm like, oh, my bad. And then he said some shit like, oh, you a heavy hitter because I had my jacket on. He said, y'all don't fuck with black people. I said, what? I got offended than the motherfucker. I'm like, what you talking about? I said, don't say that to me.
Right.
So while I'm talking to him disagreeing, here comes the goon. He's like, yo, he's not even looking at me, but he's tall and he's fucking staring that way, but he's talking to me. You got a fucking problem? And his hands were hidden. I was like, nah, man, I'm just telling him like, yo, I'll fuck with you. I said, you know what? Give me the fucking mixtapes. I'll buy them. They're like, you know what, man? Take them, bro. And I got out of it, but he was coming to get me. He was coming to get me because he thought I was starting beef, and I was just telling him, dog, I fuck with you. And then I told him later, I'm like, I DJ for DMX. That's why I'm out here. You know, I was offended by it. Don't tell a Puerto Rican he don't fuck with black people. Not from Chicago. We're fucking mixed over there. Like I grew up. It was one white family on our block.
It's the same thing in New York, though.
Well, that's my point, though. Like he specifically said heavy hitters, and that didn't make sense to me. Because we got black heavy hitters, and Enough was Biggie's DJ. Like get the fuck, like what the fuck?
It's just a weird
it
thing
was
to
just
say.
I think it was just some shit to like pick on me. Because I wasn't gonna buy it or something. I don't know.
Just people.
I might have got hot. They got hotter, and I talked my way out of it because I didn't know if a knife was coming. You know, I've seen niggas get shanked up the chin in New York. I don't fucking play that because me in Chicago, it's crazy now, but back then you could throw joints with somebody. You know, the most they had was a fucking knife. Most guys didn't carry guns unless they were one guy and it was a big deal. It's different now. But back then I didn't have a problem knuckling up with somebody, but out here I seen some crazy shit. And now we're the crazy ones. But I seen some wicked shit happen out here, so I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need, it ain't worth that.
Nonstop, man. I really do appreciate the time. If people want to follow you and like listen to you, how can they do that? Tell them.
So on IG, I'm DJ Nonstop HH for heavy hitters. On my Instagram page, I got the link to my Mixcloud. If not, it's DJ Nonstop 1. I got a SoundCloud, but the SoundCloud's dope because I got my pun tribute on there. So the pun tribute gets like 1,000 plays a week still. And I put it up 8 years ago. They took a lot of the current stuff down because it was copyright infringement. So I just left the classics up there that they don't fuck with. So I got some like a 90s mix on there. I got a Biggie tribute, a pun tribute. I got my brother's song, a couple remix blends I did on there. And it's also DJ Nonstop 1. Facebook, I'm DJ Nonstop. That's a regular page, but you know, the music's on Mixcloud. I got 100+ mixes on there. Got
you. That's dope, man. Is there anything we need to promote? Anything we got to talk about you got coming up?
Nah.
We're just chilling right now.
Right now is I'm going on a sabbatical. Right now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, man. You know what I mean? Like I'll never quit DJing, but I need a different energy now. You know what I mean? Like to go from the stage to deciding not to be on stage no more is that's a big thing for me. Because it was part of my life.
17 years on the road.
Plus 4 with T.K.A. and K7.
Over 20
or 5.
years.
I don't know. So it was a lot. That's a hard thing to walk away from, but I got to think about the rest of my life, whatever's left. You know, I got this saying since my brother passed. I outlived him by 12 years when he died. And I know for a fact that if my brother was alive, he wouldn't have wasted those 12 years that I have on him. And I did. I didn't waste them career-wise, but I wasted them relationship-wise. I wasn't happy. You know what I'm saying? So this COVID shit exposed a lot of things to me. I lost my brother right before it, so I was in a different mindset. COVID fucked up my life.
It stopped everything. Bro.
It made you think. And when I started thinking, it was the best thing for me because I realized I wasn't in a good situation. I got out of it. If I wouldn't have been thinking the way I was, I would still be in an unhappy relationship with no positive outlook, and my best friend just died. Like, I'm not gonna say X is my best friend. Like me and him were besties. X is like my brother.
Right.
We had our own relationship. I was with him for 17 and a half years. You know. I never got fired. Hundreds of niggas got fired. I never got fired. X always wanted to perform with me, and I wanted to perform with him. It was a struggle sometimes, but I always felt like I'm 8 months older than him. I felt like X was a super fucking deep and smart man. But the kid in him never got a chance to be a kid, so he had that side of him too, and that's where I had to be a bigger brother for him. And I would tell him the truth, and that was important. And he would tell me all the time, you know, I hate you sometimes, but I love you because you always kept it real with me. Even when I didn't want to hear that shit, I knew you cared about me because you said it even though I didn't like it. And I told him back then, I never wanted to be a yes man, because if you died and I had to go to your funeral as a yes man, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. So at least I can go honor him, and I know I kept it real with him all the way to the end. And he knows even more now, because now he can see everything. I kept it 100. I cared about him. I wanted him clean. I wanted him healthy. I wanted him to fucking go get back on top. Not for me. If I would have been home, if I decided to quit and he could have still did it, and I could have replaced me with somebody that had the same passion and care that I did, because that's the problem too, right?
Sure.
Somebody that takes my place has to do it like me or better.
Right.
You can't be worse than me.
Right.
What's the fucking point?
Right.
Then now I'm hurting him.
Right.
If I could have did that and he could have came out with his new album and he could have blew the fuck up, I would have been sitting home so proud, because I would have been like, he deserves that. He didn't get what he deserved, but he's somewhere where he needs to be, and he's with God, and he's an important vessel for God.
I bet. There's no doubt in my mind when it comes to that, you know, and whether you believe in all this and that, if anything, there's an energy, and that he's with the energy that sourced him. 100%.
Call it what you want.
Yeah, call it what you want.
There.
He's there.
He was important, bro.
Yeah.
He was so important, man.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Fuck, man. I didn't even think he would change my life.
Yeah.
When I started DJing from him, it was just one of those.
It was a job.
Yeah, I'm going to work for him.
Like, this is cool. He's,
yeah,
you know.
And it was a headache sometimes. He wouldn't show up for shit, or something would happen.
Yeah.
But, man, thinking back, it was the life lesson. Like, you can't pay for an education like that.
Right.
The shit we did, the places I've been.
Yeah.
I got a picture of my kids that it was drawn in Germany by an old man artist in Berlin, Germany, in a mall. I gave him a picture of my kids. He drew it on paper. I have it framed at the house.
Nice.
It says Berlin, Germany, I think 2003 or 2000 some shit.
Yeah.
It's hanging in my house.
Yeah, right.
The only time I heard about Berlin when I was a kid was about the war and shit.
Right, the Berlin Wall.
What would ever take me to fucking Berlin?
Yeah, right.
What job,
Right.
other than DJing, would I have done as a Puerto Rican in Chicago? What job? Tell me what job. Most of them owned stores or fucking restaurants. None of that shit's going to get me to Berlin. And that's not a place where you're like, yo, I want to go on vacation. I'm going to go to Berlin.
Right.
But I fucking was there, bro.
Right.
I saw I tagged on the wall. What was left of the wall. I tagged DJ Nonstop on that shit.
Hell yeah.
And it's probably all gone now, but I did it.
You know, it's dope when you're here, man. It's like hip hop's in the building. You know, it's dope that you're here, man.
I love it, man. I appreciate you being here, man.
You know what I mean?
FLATLINE's co-sign, Gracie first, then FLATLINE.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, yo, if I could stay at their house, I could fuck with their people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Like I say, I've known this brother for 30 years. I didn't even realize that until we started talking about it, but 30 years, wow.
It's amazing.
I haven't had the pleasure of really getting familiar with Gracie, but we know of each other. We're cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, Gracie's the shit.
Yeah, you know.
Talk about strong people, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, to deal with Jimmy, hell yeah.
No, just tragedies, man. We've been bouncing tragedy off each other for 20 years.
Yeah, it's
like that's my go-to when I have those problems, man. And I've never had a female friend like that. Never.
She's cool like that.
Anybody that I was close to, it was a relationship, and then that always soured.
Right.
Never a friendship where, you know, not judged. I could tell her, even FLATLINE knows my shit. When I was going through it, I was talking to both of them. Like, I would come out here and I was all miserable and shit.
Yeah.
And they were like, I know I made them sick to their fucking stomachs, but I learned through that process too. You need to talk about shit. You need to get it out, man. You get it out and you learn from it.
You do.
You know what I mean?
You do.
So.
Brother, I appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
Sorry I talk so much.
No,
Nonstop.
Man. Nonstop. There's the name. But shout out to
you
everybody.
thought it was DJing, right? Nah.
Thanks for tuning in. He's DJ Nonstop. I am Gabriel. Shout out to FLATLINE.
FLATLINE.
Angie. Hey,
Gracie.
we out, baby.
Later.